Hello, hello, welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about your favorite topic, and it is your favorite topic because we see which videos you're watching the most of, and that is interview time. So we thought we would do a fresh interview video for you guys. I've heard that you use our channel to kind of binge prep before an interview, and we love that. So hopefully this video will just add more value to you right before you go into that interview. So today we're talking 10 things that you should never say in an interview. And we really tried to kind of dig deep on this so that the tips aren't, I don't know, kind of generic and things you've heard before. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments how I do here. All right, I think the first thing is never say at the end of the interview, I have no questions. You are applying for a job or an internship where you are going to spend a lot of your time there. You're probably sitting with someone for 20 to 30 minutes. How do you not have questions? Make sure that before you go into the interview, you write down 5 to 10 questions so that if the person is really complete and thorough, you still have some great position related questions to ask. So never say, I have no questions. Number 2, don't get too caught up in the title. So you never want to come into an interview and say, well, I'm so far above that title, right? Because, well, okay, you're interviewing for a specific position, right? But we've interviewed people before where they start arguing about the title of the role first thing, and before we know if they're a qualified fit or what their history is and what their relevant experience is, we're having this awkward conversation about something that doesn't matter too much, right? Because titles at one company aren't necessarily equivalent to titles at another company. So never come in and say, I'm above this title position, right? Number 3, don't knock yourself out of the running with the biggest weakness question, right? And the biggest weakness question is tricky. Everyone that asks it knows, and everyone that answers it knows. But don't knock yourself out of the running by saying something like, I'm not very creative, right? Because if you say something like that, or I'm not very good at social media when it's a social media position. So you just want to be really strategic there and make sure that you're being open and honest, and I think showing some vulnerability there is great, but not really just putting yourself in a hole that you can't dig yourself out of. Number 4, don't go into too much personal detail about issues that could make other people feel uncomfortable. We've interviewed people before who maybe they dealt with some sort of like personal health issue, an illness, something like that. And sometimes in a first meeting, they will go so far into detail that it kind of makes the people around them a little bit uncomfortable. So I think it's fine to say something like, I was sick for a few years, I'm better now, or I'm dealing with it, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And move along. I don't think an interview, especially a first or second meeting, is the right time to go into really personal, specific details about some sort of personal experience that you've had, unless it's super relevant to the workplace, of course. Number 5, don't be too vague about the experience you have or the experience you want. I was interviewing someone recently and I really liked them on the phone and I had heard great things about them, but when I said, you know, you've done all these different things, what have been some of your favorite things to do at all of these jobs? The answer was like, I like everything. And I said, okay, is there something specific that you really like doing at your last job that you want to do more of in this next position? No, I like everything. And I couldn't, you know, I wanted to dig deep and I wanted to understand the experience this person had and what experience they could bring to the table at our company, and I couldn't get there. So, don't be too vague about the experiences you've had, or the experience, tongue twister today, or the experience that you want to have. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. 1 second. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm the Intern Queen. Welcome to our channel. If you guys didn't know, we post new videos, all valuable career advice that's gonna help you guys get from point A to point B every other Wednesday. So make sure to subscribe and hit the button below so that you guys get notifications every time we post. Number 6, don't go into detail about time off during the interview phase, right? So you don't want to get too wrapped up in like, hi, I'm here, I'm available, I'm applying for this job, and I need 17 weeks off tomorrow, right? You never want to get too far into that. I always say wait until you get the job offer, and then if there's anything major that you want to bring up, I think that's a great time to bring it up. But again, you don't want to sink your own boat at the beginning. You really want to focus on getting that job offer. And then once you have the job offer, you're in a better position to have some leverage to negotiate, etc. Number 7, don't say that you don't follow the company on social media and you're generally unfamiliar with the company entirely, right? Instead, you want to be the job or internship candidate that has done their homework, right? They're ready. I would always suggest that either the morning of the interview or the night before the interview, you go on their website, you look at their Instagram, you look at their Twitter, you Google them to see if anything big is happening in the news about the company that day. You want to be an informed job candidate. You really don't want to be the person that comes in and says, I don't know, I saw this ad and it looked interesting. Here I am, I know nothing, right? You want to do your due diligence and really do your homework. Number 8, don't over glorify your current position, right? And I think what we mean by that is if you have a job and you're looking to leave the job, right? And I guess if you're being poached or something like that, maybe I would give a little bit of a different spin on this advice, but you have a job and you're looking to leave the job. You want to make sure that you're not talking about the job in such an over-the-top way that the person you're interviewing for is saying, well, if you have it so good there, why do you want to work here? Instead, you really want to focus the conversation on the positive experiences you have at your current job and what you're looking for more of and how you can get that from this new opportunity. So yes, you want to talk about the current or even the old company that you've worked for, but you really want to laser focus on what you can bring to the table and why you're so excited, passionate, whatever it is, to be at this new company. Tip number 9. Avoid one-word answers. You want to make sure that you go into detail, not too much detail. We're not asking for babbling and tangents and all of that, but try to avoid one-word answers. You want to come across like you are someone that can hold a conversation and not just a robot, right, during your interviews. So really try to stay away from those one-word answers. I think that sometimes interns can be guilty of this because sometimes they're doing an interview for the very first time ever and you're genuinely nervous, which is okay, but really take a deep breath and really try to turn the interview, which can be a really sort of robotic, uncomfortable experience, into a nice, genuine conversation. And number 10, things to never say in an interview. And I feel like this is sort of nuanced advice because we didn't talk about this before, but a lot of people are applying to jobs and they're fashion bloggers, or they have built this big personal brand, or they have 10,000 plus followers on Instagram, right? And I think there's a way to sort of talk about those accomplishments without coming across as boastful. And I think you could take this into like any part of your life, right? We all have different accomplishments and things that make us unique and special, and there's a way to talk about those experiences without coming across like you're bragging. So instead of going into an interview and saying, well, I have 128,000 followers and subscribers on my YouTube channel and they tune in to watch me every single day, right? I think there's a way to talk about that and to say, you know what, I've worked really hard in building up my personal brand on YouTube, and I'm really excited because I saw in the job description that I'm gonna be able to work on the YouTube channel here, and I think I can lend a lot of my expertise to your page, right? That would be a much sort of less braggadocious way, is that the right word? To talk about something you've accomplished without sounding like you're bragging. So that's our video today, guys. You heard it here, 10 things to never say in an interview. We could go on all day about this, so if you guys have any tips, tricks, comments, questions, please leave it below. Bye, guys.